Mani Padme Hum, Om 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 Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om 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 Mani Padme Mani Padme Hum, Om 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 Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om 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 Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. We take a minute to visualize that all the beings, 6 realm beings in human form, that Guru Chenrezig, the kindness of Guru Chenrezig, with the nectar falling on each and every one of them, now have completely purified their bodies and minds. All the obscurations, negative karma, degenerative diseases, any spirit harm, all the fears and negativities are now completely purified. Just take a minute to really feel this within your own body and mind. Just imagine all the sentient beings are clean and clear with a hollow light body. Free from any impurities. We have become like crystal, light beings, totally capable of enlightening others with all the qualities of Buddha Chenrezig, holding within our own hearts infinite compassion and infinite love and wisdom. We are endowed with these qualities. So holding this conviction that we are no longer helpless beings, that we can be fully confident we have some capacity, the energy to benefit others. With this, we'll recite the actual prayer. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they had been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the 4 elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power, and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the Gurus and the 3 jewels, by the power of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they had been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to the disturbances of the 4 elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the Gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. One more time. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of Graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they had been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to the disturbances of four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the Gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karmas and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. So dedicate. So Gevadi Nududa Lama Sange Dudire Devati Kamalupa Gay Sala Dupashu Jamchu Semcho Rinpoche Make Panam Ge Guchi Ge Panyam Pame Payang Gongne Gongdu Palwashu. See His Holiness the Dalai Lama's long life prayer. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. You who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, savior of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. So we can just take a minute to rejoice, and particularly very lovely to see someone from Sri Lanka joining as well. So I hope there'll be more people from Sri Lanka joining next Saturday. So thank you for joining me today. And I'd like to hand over to Venerable Sarah in a minute. So we'll savor our practice and just rejoice for a minute. And just wish that all our prayers are fulfilled immediately and all the sufferings beings have the desired effect, and the world becomes free of all this tremendous suffering immediately. So we can take a minute to just rejoice, keep rejoicing until Venerable Sarah joins us from Nepal.
I am here.
You are there. Sorry, I couldn't see that.
Yeah.
Hi, nice to see you. I can see two of you. That's why I got confused.
Take a minute to just
Rejoice, keep
rejoicing. Yeah, two of me, because the real star is my prayer wheel.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so the prayer wheel is going to be turning.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
You're in Sri Lanka now?
No, I'm actually in Bendigo right now because I came to Rinpoche's retreat last year, the one that didn't happen. And I haven't been able to go back because Australia closed the borders. Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
quite a different turnout.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm in yeah, so I'm just waiting until things clear. But, you know, we are connecting and doing lots of things together. So that's all good.
Well, I want to say one thing to you, and that is I'm rejoicing so much in the experiences that you've been having with the Golden Light Sutra.
Oh, I have to tell you. In fact, there is a person who is just listening from Sri Lanka. He was living in Oman and he has some stories to tell about the Swarnabha Suttama Sutra, Golden Light Sutra. I mean, all these people have unbelievable experiences, you know, as you well know. So there's a bunch of us that is just amazing connection with it. Yeah, I have no doubt that everything that I'm enjoying today is everything that's opening up in Sri Lanka, and the connections, the harmony that's building between the two traditions in an unbelievable way is due to the practices we did for over the 6 years. And Golden Light Sutra is one of the main practices that we did, and the Medicine Buddha.
Well, that's amazing, because Rinpoche had said years ago, before I went to Mongolia, that the reason Mongolia was so successful, he thought, was because some great lama or lamas in the past had introduced the practice of the Medicine Buddha and the Sutra of Golden Light.
Wow.
And you know, I had this experience reciting the sutra, and we gave it out to students in Mongolia, and then Rinpoche often asked me to tell that story, how the whole place changed, and they awarded me a medal. You know, I got a medal for that, so I hope you get a medal too.
I already have my medal in that the obstacles are gone. You know, this just that. Yeah, it's incredible. And Rinpoche about 3 months ago said that we have to build a 15-meter Medicine Buddha statue in Sri Lanka.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm sure this sutra, and I'm sure this Medicine Buddha practice was in Sri Lanka before.
They were. I don't know about the sutra, but Medicine Buddha, definitely I have evidence. I have met people to this day, does the Medicine Buddha mantra in Sanskrit. They have no idea what they're doing, but they know the mantra.
That's incredible.
Incredible. It's just we are reviving it. You know, it's certainly not introducing anything new. It was there before. Yeah. Wonderful.
Well, it's really amazing. And I think it would be great if we write down some of these experiences and we publish them to inspire other people to recite. You know, that was always Rinpoche's wish. And I know that in Brazil, they've also been doing this. And I haven't heard if they've had any experiences or not, but I would love to find out and see if, you know, we can get experiences from around the world.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. We'll contribute to a booklet. Definitely, there are people who in Sri Lanka can tell stories, including Sugata Dasa, who is listening.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing it up. It's always put a smile to my face talking about the Golden Light Sutra and hearing your story at the first or the second or the third Bendigo at Rinpoche's retreat, you know. So I never forgotten that.
That must be why. Okay, so I'll let you go, but just thank you very much, and thank you to everyone in Sri Lanka, and to the listener in Oman who's, sorry, the name is difficult to catch the first time, who's reciting the sutra.
Thank you, Venerable. I hope you will come and visit one day.
I would love to come, and I will bring back with me a huge bag of Sri Lankan cinnamon.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, we can supply that.
The real thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Yeah. Okay, so hello everybody, and it's nice to be here. I'm actually the star of this 1 hour is the prayer wheel. There's 2 trillion mantras in this prayer wheel, so I'll try to keep that turning the whole session, with the motivation for it to be of great benefit to all sentient beings, sickness, who are dying, with any kind of problem, difficulty in their lives. Yeah. And then the other thing I would like to do this session is I would like to do a Chenrezig practice composed by Thangtong Gyalpo. So last week in my 1 hour session, I did a Chenrezig practice that was taught to me. The chanting and the practice was taught to me by Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and it's by a emanation of Thangtong Gyalpo. So that's the praise, the 6th syllable great compassionate one. So today I'm planning to do a Chenrezig practice, which was actually composed by Gyalpo himself, and it includes the Refuge prayer at the beginning, which was given to Thangtong Gyalpo by Chenrezig, and then it includes a 7-nin prayer from Dikshuni Palmo, Lama Palmo, who of course received the long name lineage from Chenrezig. And then it also includes a prayer that Thangtong Gyalpo received in a vision that he had actually composed, I think composed or heard from Chenrezig in a previous life when he was a monk during the Buddhist times. Yeah, so isn't that wonderful? And then of course at the end we'll do the prayer to Shakya, and in the middle we'll be doing Om Mani Padme Hum. And to commence then, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read a little piece about who Thangtong Gyalpo was, just to give a bit more of a taste of Thangtong Gyalpo, this great Mahasiddha. So, Thangtong Gyalpo, Mahasiddha, and builder of bridges. So the 14th century Mahasiddha Thangtong Gyalpo was a busy man. His status in Tibet and Bhutanese culture is unparalleled. He was a master of the highest Vajrayana teachings. In addition to displaying unparalleled skill as an architect, blacksmith, civil engineer, artist, writer of operas, and dispeller of epidemics, he is both a legend and a historical figure. Some records say that he was born in 1385 and instantly attained the age of 60 years. Most sources agree that he died when he was 125, having perfected the secrets of longevity that practitioners can attain through supplication and prayer. Some say that Thangtong Gyalpo lived to be 900 years old, but this 900 years old is very relative. Thangtong Gyalpo in the pictures is shown as an old man with a white beard, nice white hair, really big, muscly, not frail. And all of this is for auspiciousness. Being a healthy old man brings the meaning of long life. The white beard means wise. So by visualizing, praying, and supplicating to Thangtong Gyalpo in this aspect, it creates the auspicious cause for the practitioner to receive the blessing of longevity. Born in Ulpalatse in Upper Tsang, Tibet, the historical Thangtong was a unique Mahasiddha both because of his tremendous realization and his engineering accomplishments. He established incredible engineering marvels under challenging circumstances and over difficult terrain. Imagine a larger-than-life man, combined with the wisdom of Padmasambhava, sitting astride a horse that he'd ride into shrine rooms. He became known as the madman of the empty land. In some Tibetan texts, he is reported to have been seen feasting just as easily on a long dead and rotting horse as on delicacies. It was because of his madman looks that one ferryman refused him passage across water to a holy site. And from this experience, Thangtong Gyalpo had a vision of an iron chain suspension bridge that any pilgrim could cross. To build such a bridge, he would need to learn metallurgy to create durable links, study engineering to span unpredictable rivers and deep gorges, and raise funds to buy the iron ore and pay for the labor. Thangtong Gyalpo developed a method of smelting iron to create enormous chain links that remain untarnished to this day. Many of the 58 suspension bridges that he built are still in use in Bhutan and Tibet. He opened the route through the land of Kongpo Aborigines, where he obtained iron for his bridges and rites of passage for Tibetan pilgrims to visit the holy places in Tsari, to the southeast of Dagpo, near the Indian border. Many practitioners pray to him when they are seeking strength and connections. He also designed and built many large and unusual stupas across Tibet and Bhutan, including the great Kumbum Choten at Chung Rinpoche, and established Gongchen, a Sakya monastery in Dege. It is said that Thangtong Gyalpo used his skills as a performing artist to raise money for his projects. He established Tibet's first Dharma theatre troupe, which performed operas, recited mantras, and told stories that were meant to subdue demons and teach sentient beings. Today, Buchen performers in Tibet consider Thangtong Gyalpo the founder of Tibetan opera. They often perform a sword dance that ends with breaking a stone to reenact Thangtong Gyalpo's triumph over an epidemic-causing demon. After flying to Lhasa on a white-tailed eagle, he trapped the demon inside a stone that he carried into the marketplace and split open with a rock-shaped leg, a ritual dagger. Thangtong Gyalpo's ability to eradicate sickness is also part of his legend. His prayers are considered to be effective against myriad adverse circumstances. One Lama writes that Thangtong Gyalpo's Refuge prayer is one of the most powerful. The outer, inner, and secret refuge practice of the Mahasiddha Thangtong Gyalpo Prayer is very helpful. I do it all the time, day and night, whenever there's a need. It was given directly to Thangtong Gyalpo's teacher by Avalokiteshvara himself for Thangtong Gyalpo to spread. I've given it to a few people to do to transform their life circumstances and different difficulties, and it seems like it really has worked wonderfully. Thangtong Gyalpo is considered to be an emanation of Manjushri. Okay, and then for us as disciples of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Gomchen was Gomchen Bapala, who lived in Solukhumbu near Lukla, who was one of was considered an emanation of Thangtong Gyalpo. He, of course, was a great healer as well as a great Mahasiddha. Did come to visit Copan and gave a teaching at Rinpoche's request on Guru devotion. It's at the end of the Heart of the Path book. Very, very powerful. And in that, Gomchenla praises Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche, basically telling the students way, way back in the 70s that Rinpoche himself is a fully realized being. And then this great Mahasiddha, Gomchenla, requested Rinpoche to give him the transmission from Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga practice for auspiciousness. So I think we can see from that just how powerful and how special the connection is. Yeah. So with that as inspiration, let us go to that practice. And I have put this practice, all the 3 things I'll be reciting, put the links to Lotsoa House in order for them. So you'll find that in the YouTube, rather than putting it on the screen. Okay, and we're going to start with the Refuge prayer, the outer, inner, and secret refuge practice of the Mahasiddha Thangtong Gyalpo. So let's just visualize all sentient beings around us. Of course, we normally do the mother and father on either side, and then the enemies in front, and the friends and relatives behind and around. All sentient beings. It must be all sentient beings, and all sentient beings, they're all experiencing the various different sufferings, but we should think of them in human form. So, of course, just right now on this earth, one of the major sufferings is related to the pandemic, the manifest sufferings related to the pandemic, and sickness, and death, and grief, and economic problems, and all the various different troubles, separation from loved ones, inability to work, mental problems, all these different issues that are arising, along with the difficulties from the harm of the 4 elements, of course, especially accelerated due to global warming. So we remember this as a specific thing, and then in general, of course, all the sufferings of all sentient beings, the different realms, and the causes of those sufferings. And who is it that can help? Who can help is only Buddha, omniscient one, fully omniscient one, who knows all things without any obstruction, knowing everything all the time simultaneously and able to help perfectly. And so, of course, Chenrezig, Buddha Commercian, is fully omniscient, and in this form is the 4-armed Chenrezig. So you can visualize in front, and we're going to do the Refuge prayer, thinking that we're like the leader of the Refuge prayer, and everyone is reciting with us. So since the beginning of this time, we've been experiencing these sufferings, and we will have to experience them continually until we achieve a state of enlightenment. Therefore, we must do something. We must take responsibility for all sentient beings to bring them from suffering to a place of total happiness. In order to do that, we must achieve a state of full enlightenment. Therefore, we're leading all sentient beings now in taking refuge. And of course, the object of refuge is the root Guru, Dharmaka, holy mind of all the Buddhas, taking these various different forms, both ordinary forms that we can see, and then these other forms as deities and so forth. All mother sentient beings as infinite as space take refuge in the Guru, the precious Buddha, in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha we take refuge. In the assembly of gurus, yidam deities, and dakinis, we take refuge. In the Dharmakaya, the inseparable emptiness and clarity of our own minds, we take refuge. All mother sentient beings as infinite as space, take refuge in the Guru, the precious Buddha. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we take refuge. In the assembly of gurus, yidam deities, and dakinis, we take refuge. In the Dharmakaya, the inseparable emptiness and clarity of our own minds, we take refuge. All other sentient beings as infinite as space, take refuge in the Guru, the precious Buddha. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we take refuge. In the assembly of gurus, yidam deities, and dakinis, we take refuge. In the Dharmakaya, the inseparable emptiness and clarity of our own minds, we take refuge. For me and all sentient beings throughout the whole of space, on the crown of our heads, seated upon white lotus and moon, is a Shri, from which noble Avalokiteshvara appears, brilliantly white and radiating 5-colored rays of light. He has a captivating smile and gazes with eyes of compassion. The first two of his 4 hands are clasped together. The lower 2 hold a crystal rosary and a white lotus. He is adorned with silken garments and jewels, and an antelope pelt is draped over his shoulder. Amitabha, boundless light, is his crown adornment. His 2 legs in the seated Vajra posture, and the stainless moon supports him at his back. He is the essence and embodiment of all sources of refuge. So visualize form Chenrezig in this way, the crown of your head, crown of all beings' heads, inseparable from the root Guru. So understand on Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And then we recite the following prayer along with all sentient beings as though with a single voice. Precious Lord, your body white and unblemished, your crown adorned with the perfect Buddhas, your eyes of compassion gazing on all beings. Avalokiteshvara, to you I pay homage. I will recite that again 2 more times. Precious Lord, your body white and unblemished, your crown adorned with the perfect Buddhas, your eyes of compassion gazing on all beings. Avalokiteshvara, to you I pay homage. Precious Lord, your body white and unblemished, your crown adorned with the perfect Buddhas, your eyes of compassion gazing on all beings. Avalokiteshvara, to you I pay homage. Then we're going to do the 7 branches, 7 in prayer. So this is from Galamba Palma lineage. Prostration. To the noble Lord Avalokiteshvara and all the victors and their heirs, dwelling in all directions of the universe, through past, present, and future, sincerely, enthusiastically, I pay homage. So imagine yourself and all sentient beings, 2 palms together, and making full prostration with numberless bodies, covering every area of the earth. To Guru Chenrezig. Offerings. I make offerings of flowers, incense, lamps, fragrant scents, and food and music and the like, both physical and imaginary, created by the mind. Assembly of noble ones, please accept them all. So then imagine making all the various different offerings filling the earth and sky. So it can include all those in Shi's houses and all the centers, of course in your own house. Visualize many more. All these objects in nature, great bliss, are offered to Chenrezig, Guru Chenrezig, all the Buddhas, Vajra Sangha. Think they receive? I'm very pleased. Confession. All my negative deeds throughout beginning this time until today, the 10 non-virtues and the 5 with immediate reckoning, sprung from this mind that is driven by destructive mind, I confess them all, each and every one. Confess the negativities. I think they're all gone, purified completely. Rejoicing. With a heart full of delight, I rejoice in all the merits of Shravakas, Pacceka Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and every living being throughout 3 times. So feel great joy in your heart as you think of all the virtues that you've accumulated in the past, accumulate now, will accumulate in the future. And all the virtues of all the Buddhas and all the numberless sentient beings. Imploring the Buddhas to teach. I implore you, according to temperament and mental capacity of sentient beings, please turn the wheel of Dharma of all the vehicles, lesser, greater, and general. So imagine the Dharma wheel, requesting your gurus and all the Buddhas to teach. I think they accept happily. Requesting Buddhas into nirvana. Until samsara has been completely emptied, I beseech you, do not pass into nirvana, but look upon us with your boundless compassion as we flounder in this ocean of suffering. So offering the lion throne to a guru from Chenrezig, all our gurus, all Buddhas, requesting them to remain and teach. I think they happily accept. Then dedicating. May whatever virtue I have amassed become the cause of enlightenment for all. May I quickly, without delay or deferment, become an excellent guide to all beings. Okay, and now we're going to do the prayer to Chenrezig. That was the personal practice of Thangtong Gyalpo in a previous life when he was the monk Pamakapo, which he remembered when he was the master of Thangtong Gyalpo. It was very, very special and blessed. To you I pray, Guru Avalokiteshvara. To you I pray, Yidam Avalokiteshvara. To you I pray, Sublime Noble Avalokiteshvara. To you I pray, Lord of Refuge Avalokiteshvara. To you I pray, Loving Protector Avalokiteshvara. Me in your compassion, caring and victorious one. So remember directing this prayer to our Guru in the form of Chenrezig. For us beings who wander endlessly throughout samsara and are subjected to intolerable pain and suffering, Savior, we have no other refuge but you. Inspire us to attain omniscience and awakening through the force of negative karma accumulated throughout beginningless time. Beings who are overcome with hatred take birth in the hells, where they suffer the torments of intense heat and cold. May they all be reborn in your presence, O Supreme of Deities. So now as we recite Om Mani Padme Hum, think that we're purifying all the beings but specifically focusing on beings in the hell realms and their various torments, such as intense heat and cold. And you can think all those sufferings and being purified by light rays and nectars coming from Guru Chenrezig on the crown of all the beings' heads, and also that all the sufferings are absorbed in the form of darkness and filth and dirt into the syllables of the prayer well as it turns, and all the prayer wells in the universe turning goes into the syllables Om Mani Padme Hum, and there are just so many Om Mani Padme Hum in these prayer wheels, and each of the syllables is making its own sound, sending out beams into the universe, and it magnetically absorbs all these sufferings, transforms them into emptiness, and then sends back beams containing all the realizations of Chenrezig's holy body, speech, and mind, which absorb into the hell beings, and they're all liberated. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 So think all the beings in the hell realms completely purified. They all transform into Chenrezig and recite the mantra. Continuing through the four torment, intense hunger and thirst. May they all be born in your supreme Putala pure land. So same visualization on the crown of the head of all the hungry ghost beings in particular, and then all the other 6 realm sentient beings general. These Guru Chenrezig nectars and light rays come down from the hearts of Shri Om Mani Padme Hum and purify all the negative karma, sufferings, obstacles, so forth, and grant all the blessings. And at the same time, all these obstacles and sicknesses, they all absorb into syllables of the mantra in all the prayer wells that are turning. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. So think of the nectars and night rays, and then go Chenrezig and the crown all the hungry ghosts' heads. Light rays and nectar beams descended and purified, and then again all the obstacles, negative karmas, imprints absorbed into the syllables of the prayer wheel. Beams of light go out from all the syllables, Om Mani Padme Hum, from all the prayer wheels turning, and all the hungry ghost beings become Chenrezig, and they're all reborn in the Patala, Pure Land, and recite the mantra. And then we continue. Through the force of negative karma accumulated throughout beginningless time, beings who are overcome with ignorance take birth as animals and experience the misery of verbal incapacity and confusion. May they all be reborn in your presence, O Protector. So now the same visualization for all the animal realm beings. So birds, fish, those in the ocean, those in the sky, those in the land, those under the land. So on the crown of each one's head is Chenrezig. That is a night rays coming from the cerebral tree and Om Mani Padme Hum. Purify all negative karmas. Grant all the blessings, Chenrezig, holy body, spiritual mind. And at the same time, all the negative karmas, obstacles absorbed into the syllables of the prayer wheel. Beams of light emitted and absorbed into them, and they become Chenrezig. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. It seems like we got cut off. Is anybody there?
Yes, we can hear you, Sarah.
Have you been able to hear me the whole time?
Yes, but the prayer wheel was disappeared a few minutes ago.
It seems to be a
Can you
fault
hear
with the
me?
yeah, it seems to be a fault with the internet. Yeah, the internet's gone off. Okay, I'll try and focus on the prayer wheel using this one. Can you see the prayer wheel?
Yes.
This is my phone now.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Really, really great.
Yes.
You look so great.
Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Great. Okay. I'm back there.
Oh. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Okay, so what we just did, recap, is we've purified the beings in we're doing this sadhana by composed by Thangtong Gyalpo, and we purified all the beings in the hell realms and the hungry ghosts and the animals, and now the humans, and now we're moving on to the god realms. Through the force of negative karma accumulated throughout beginningless time, beings who overcome with jealousy take birth in the Asura realm, where they suffer the torments of conflict and dispute. May they all be reborn in the Patala Pure Land. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. So, visualization of the Guru Chenrezig, forearms on the crown of every being's head, and then the light rays and nectars coming from the syllable Shri and Om Mani Padme Hum, coming down and then purify all the negatives, obstacles, and imprints and so forth. And then all the beings become Chenrezig, and also all the negative karmas, obstacles absorbed into the prayer wheel, all the syllables and the prayer wheels, and then become completely absorbed in emptiness, and then beams of light emitted from all the syllables making their own sound, absorb into all beings, and then they all become Chenrezig. Recite the mantra. So last one. Through the force of negative karma accumulated throughout beginningless time, beings who are overcome with pride take birth in the Devas realm, where they suffer the torments of transmigration and fall. May they all be reborn in the Patala Pure Land. Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. So now the nectar beams and light from the small Gurja Mezig on the crown of the Asura beings purifies all the negative karmas imprints, and then brings all the qualities and blessings, and they all become Chenrezig. So now all 6 realms sentient beings all become Chenrezig, and they're all in the pure land of Chenrezig, and they're all reciting the mantra. And now we do dedication. May I, in this and all my future lives, through activity like that of Avalokiteshvara, liberate the beings of impure realms and transmit the supreme speech of the 6 syllables throughout the 10 directions. So this is Thangtong Gyalpo's prayer in the previous life. Through the force of invoking you, the supremely noble, May all those whom I must discipline and guide take interest in cause and effect, strive to act virtuously, and come to possess the qualities that may benefit all. Then we continue. Through praying single-pointedly in this way, rays of light stream forth from the Noble One's form and purify impure karmic perception and delusion. The outer environment becomes a blissful paradise, Sukhavati, and beings within it transform physically, vocally, and mentally to take on Avalokiteshvara's enlightened body, speech, and mind. And appearance, sound, and awareness become inseparable with emptiness. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani bame om, 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 oh mani bame om, 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 oh mani bame om. Finally, settle evenly in your own essential nature, beyond any thought of the three conceptual spheres, subject, object, and activity. So just take a while to be in that place where all things are Chenrezig. And you guys at Chenrezig Institute, everything you see, hear, experience, all your activity, even the chair that you sit on, the ground that you stand on, the air that you breathe, all the technical equipment, every single thing is a manifestation of Chenrezig's compassionate activity. And that's inseparable from our Guru's enlightened activity. They are completely oneness with Guru Chenrezig's Pure Land. You're completely there. And all sentient beings similarly, no matter how ordinary it might seem, the appearance, but in reality they are all with Chenrezig and Chenrezig's Pure Land. Mind is totally pure and free. And then we all arise as Chenrezig in that form. I and others appear as the noble one's enlightened form. All sounds take on the melody of the 6-syllable mantra, and all thoughts are the expanse of great primordial wisdom. Through the positivity and merit of this, I swiftly attain the realization of Avalokiteshvara, and thereby every single sentient being reach his state of perfection too. Through the merit of practicing this visualization and recitation of mantra, may I and all those with whom I am connected be reborn miraculously in the blissful paradise of Sukhavati, the very moment we leave these impure bodies behind, and as soon as we are born there, may we fully traverse the 10 stages and send out emanations to act for others' welfare throughout the 10 directions. So that's the practice by Thangtong Gyalpo, and it's worth remembering that we are indeed guided by emanations of Chenrezig all the time, and we have been blessed by Chenrezig. And now I'm going to recite the actual prayer to relieve sickness. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings, that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhuttas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases, that like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they had been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances, the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power, and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the Gurus and the Three Jewels, by the power of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. Yeah, so I think I've got still a little bit of time, so maybe I'll recite that prayer one more time. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhuttas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases, that like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they'd been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances, the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. May the body and mind have radiance and power, and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the power of the compassion of the Gurus and the Three Jewels, by the power of the Kinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, by the power of the truth, the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. Yeah, so I heard about the qualities of Thangtong Gyalpo, how he's actually a fully enlightened being, taking the aspect of Mahasiddha, and how he was, even praying to Chenrezig, and before he took that aspect of the Mahasiddha, and then the miraculous works that he performed in Tibet and Bhutan, and then since then many other emanations that have composed prayers and guided beings through the Chenrezig practice. And of course now coming down to Gomchen Ma, who was teaching at Kopan, and coming down to our own precious root gurus who are inseparable from the Dhammakai holy mind. So inseparable have all the same qualities, in other words, as Thangtong Gyalpo. So by following this advice, Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche, like these prayers, and giving voice to the great master, the Thangtong Gyalpo's prayers and aspirations, may this be fulfilled. May the pandemic cease. May the economic problems cease. And may whatever beings need in the world be accomplished. All those who have passed away obtain good rebirths. May all those who are grieving be comforted. As it says in the prayer, like the earth, water, fire, and wind, medicines, and wood in the forest, may it always be enjoyed by all sentient beings as they like and without resistance. So may the precious Supreme Bodhicitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that which has arisen not decline and increase more and more. Samsara Nirvana, like even an atom in her existence, cause and effect and depend to rise or betraying. Seek a blessing, discern the meaning of Nagarjuna in this thought, that these two are mutually complementary, not contradictory. However many sick sentient beings there are, may they quickly be freed from all sicknesses. May all the sicknesses, without exception, of transmigratory beings never occur again. In all our lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may we enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities, the grounds and powers, may we quickly achieve the state of Vajradhara. And then remembering that these practice in essence, the one doing the practice, those who are listening, those who are helping it all to happen, the practice itself, and the the written practice object and the actual act of doing it are all any kind of intrinsic existence whatsoever. And then dedicating for long life is Hannes Dalonga, wish granting, wish fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world. To incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And then dedicating for Rinpoche's own life, through illuminating all your appearances, spells of darkness, your clear mind knows the 84,000 heaps of Dharma, the power of the remedy to 84,000 delusions. Your proclaiming dependent arising itself is victorious in battle with the Maras. I worship supremely kind, great Vajradhara on my crown. Clarifying scriptures and realizations, teachings of the Muni, who spread and illuminate those teachings wherever they've not yet spread in the world. Having become an actual son of the conquerors, you bear hardships with patience. In your continuum is realization, perfection of wisdom, subtle and dependent arising. Precious jewel, Lord, possessing love and compassion, who liberates upon seeing, treasure of mastery, the all arising interpretive and definitive scriptures, supremely great among great, fully comprehending, clarifying the meaning of emptiness and compassion. You guide all beings in the path to liberation. Perfectly qualified spiritual fan, my Guru, please remain forever. She who protects from the fears of the 3 times Aryatara, please increase the lifespans and activities of the beings who preserve the holy Dharma, and always without separation, develop their spontaneous actions by the infallible deity of the 3 roots. They all be auspicious. So that's concluding. And then, at the beginning I was reading a little bit about Thangtong Gyalpo and how that aspect of being like old, but still very, very virile, so very strong, and the long white beard, wisdom, and being old but very strong, being a blessing, an auspicious condition for anyone who sees him, thinks about him, hears about him, to be able to achieve the state of longevity. And so in the same way, may our gurus have long lives, or the spiritual practitioners have long lives, or the Sangha, or the benefactors, and then of course all those who are now sick, may they fully recover and have long lives, or their sicknesses be dispelled. Yeah, so thank you very much, Chenrezig. That was a bit different. And I can't see whether the next person is there or not.
I am. I'm here.
Hello. Sorry, I lost my internet.
Oh.
Fortunately, I had 3G on my phone, so I was able to set it up. So I think I didn't get disconnected. I'm not sure, but I lost my internet in about 2/3 through the session.
Oh, well, you're connected. I can see your prayer wheel.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Good. Okay, great. Everything good up there? All good?
Yep. Yeah, everything's okay.
Great. Yeah, I heard Temper earlier. He said no one seems to be sick anymore and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, there's no stories of anybody being sick. Things seem to be improving. A little bit more activities happening, but not much. Yeah, it's okay.
Well, we'll be happy when we get more teachings from Rinpoche.
I know.
Those of us who don't speak Tibetan.
Rinpoche keeps saying, couple more. And then he'll go back to the advice for the Sangha. And then a couple more. So I think it's been like that since about the 8th video. And I think we're up to 17 or 18 now.
Do you sit in on the Tibetan videos?
Oh, no. I have no idea when they happen very late often, and it's just Rinpoche and I guess Sherab. It's sometimes they're
Yeah,
happening like at 10 o'clock in the evening, I think.
Yeah, well, after the Sangha, we go back to Babonka Rinpoche's section on emptiness and liberation, and then we go to thought transformation.
That seems to be the plan. We'll see.
Still a long way to go, baby. Okay, so I won't take any more of your time, and take care. Yeah.
You too. Okay, bye-bye. Maybe see you next week, or see your prayer wheel next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Everyone in Chenrezig.
Okay, so let's begin this next session. My name is Joan. I'm based at Kopan Monastery in Nepal, where we're in a kind of strict lockdown after having a bit of an outbreak here amongst the monks. So as we were saying, though, everything is now okay and under control. Nobody's sick. So, but of course, that's not the same around the world. There's many people sick, many people still being afflicted by COVID-19, getting sick, being put on oxygen, being put on ventilators, ending up, in some cases, losing their lives. So we have a lot of people to pray for. So let's begin by setting up a good motivation for this session. And of course, the best motivation is to do this not just thinking of our own sufferings caused by COVID-19, but expanding our mind to develop compassion for all those who are suffering the consequences of COVID-19. And of course, we can include people and other beings suffering from other causes, but this practice mainly focused on trying to free this world from COVID-19 by the power of our prayers, our virtuous intentions, our sincere words based on Thangtong Gyalpo's very special prayer. So we begin by setting our mind into a good place of compassion. And we can begin by developing compassion for ourselves, thinking about the different challenges we ourselves have faced in the past 15, 16 months. So just think about how this disease has affected your life, how it's changed your life. And you may be lucky that it's not affected you very deeply, but for many people it's brought much suffering, much difficulties. And probably in some way you've been affected. Your life has changed. Your relationships with others have changed. Your ability to move freely has changed. So just spend a moment contemplating how this pandemic has affected us personally, and developing compassion for ourselves, wishing ourselves to be free from this suffering and all forms of suffering. And then we can expand our motivation to include the people that we're close to, family, our friends. And we can just think briefly of the various challenges they've been facing this past year and are still facing in many cases. And we think not just of the people who've been sick, the people who have passed away, but we also include all the different forms of suffering, especially even the mental suffering that people have experienced due to COVID-19. Anxiety, worry, fear, loneliness, feeling hopeless, feeling depressed, feeling, many people are feeling now that this is just never going to end, that it's become kind of unbearable, it's going on and on and on. So of course this brings a lot of pain to the person who thinks like that. So we just quickly go through the members of our family and our friends and opening our hearts to them, wishing that whatever difficulties they're being faced with, that they be free of those difficulties and that they find happiness and peace and well-being and health. And then we can expand our thoughts even further, thinking that around the world people are experiencing these very same kinds of challenges and difficulties. Around the world people have been sick, are sick. And around the world people have been experiencing fear and worry and anxiety and loneliness. All sorts of problems have come up for people. Not just adults, but also for children and teenagers, as well as for the older generation. So we just expand our thoughts, thinking to include not only our own family and friends, but all the people in our neighborhood, in our community. And then expand that to include all the people in this town or city where we live, out to the nation that we live in. And then gradually including more and more nations until we include all the human beings around this world. We just spend a moment opening our hearts to all of them, thinking that just like us, they want to be happy, they want to be free from suffering. Like us, they've had enough of this pandemic. Like us, they want to go back to living a normal life. And like us, there's still probably some restrictions in place, some difficulties with getting back to a normal life. So we open our hearts, wishing all of them to be free from these sufferings, these difficulties. Then to begin our practice, we can begin by taking refuge. So if you know the elaborate visualization of all the objects of refuge, you can visualize all of them, or you can just visualize Buddha Shakyamuni in front of you, thinking that Buddha embodies all the other objects of refuge, your gurus, all the Buddhas, all the Dharma, all the Sangha. So we take refuge understanding our own suffering and understanding the suffering of all sentient beings, and wishing to use these sufferings to transform our mind and to become a fully enlightened being. And to do this, we need guidance, we need help, we need protection. So we seek this protection in the Guru, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and the various manifestations of all the enlightened beings. So we recite this prayer 3 times. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge, precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge, the assembly of Gurus, Idams, and Dakinis. We go for refuge, the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge, the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge, the assembly of Gurus, Idams, and Dakinis. We go for refuge, the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge, the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge, the assembly of Gurus, Idams, and Dakinis. We go for refuge, the empty clarity of our own minds, Dharmakaya. So then we can visualize the Buddha of compassion, Chenrezig. We can, if you have received the appropriate empowerment, you can visualize yourself as Chenrezig. Otherwise, visualize Chenrezig in front of you or above the crown of your head. And also visualize in front of yourself all those beings that you've been thinking about who are suffering. So you can visualize your family members and your friends in front of you and around them, all the suffering sentient beings, in particular all those who are experiencing suffering due to this pandemic. Of course, you can include other people as well, those who are suffering from other forms of illness or from other forms of suffering. So we can spend a few minutes reciting the mantra of Chenrezig. You can recite it in whatever way works for you, chanting it, singing it, reciting it slowly or quickly. But the main thing is that you keep your mind in the state of compassion, which is what's embodied in the visualization of Chenrezig and the mantra. And we can visualize it as we recite the mantra, rays of light and nectar come forth from Chenrezig's heart. On the ends of each ray of light, there's another Chenrezig, and these Chenrezigs come to the crown of everybody's head. So each person visualized in front of us has a Chenrezig above their head. And as we recite the mantra, rays of light and nectar flow down from Chenrezig's heart and enters into that person and washes away not only their suffering, but also the causes of their suffering, the negative karma and deluded states of mind that bring about negative actions. And thus they become not only free from the suffering that's caused by this pandemic, but the causes of all future suffering. We try and keep that visualization as much as possible in mind as we recite the mantra. Om mani padme hum, 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 mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum, 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 m Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. So we can visualize that all the people that we've visualized in front of ourselves, all of them have become completely filled with light and nectar, coming from the compassion of the Buddha of compassion. That all their suffering is relieved, and that all their causes of their suffering have been completely purified. We visualize that the Chenrezig above the crown of their head melts into light and absorbs into them. And each one of them realizes their fullest potential, that of a fully enlightened being, and becomes the Buddha of compassion. So just spend a moment thinking how wonderful it would be if all the people in our family, all our friends, but not only them, all the people in this world and all the beings in all the different realms of existence, how wonderful it would be if they all became the Buddha of compassion. And then we come back to the reality of all the suffering in this world and suffering in all the different realms of existence. And then, still coming from this place of strong compassion, we recite the actual prayer composed by Thangtong Gyalpo to relieve an epidemic that happened some centuries ago in Tibet. And by the power of his bodhicitta, these words have power to bring about the end of disease. So we say these words together with a strong, strong wish that this pandemic may immediately come to an end, that no more people will get sick from this illness, that all those who are sick may be immediately healed and recover completely, go on to lead meaningful, happy lives, and that all those who die from this illness may never again experience this kind of suffering in all their future lives. May they have only healthy, good bodies and be able to use those bodies in their spiritual development. So recite these words together. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings or result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 crosses of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbance of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. May the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of gurus and three jewels, by the power of dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth, the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. So do this again. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they were placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 crosses or interferes, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. May the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the question of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the kinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth and infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. So we do once more. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they had been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. May the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the creation of gurus and the three jewels, by the power of zucchinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, by the power of truth and infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. So we think very strongly, may these dedications and prayers be fulfilled right now, immediately. So then we conclude the session by dedicating the merits that we've created. And we think here not just of the merits that we've created by doing this session, by generating compassion, by taking refuge, by reciting the mantra of Chenrezig, by reciting the prayer composed by Thangtong Gyalpo. We dedicate all these merits, but we combine them also with all the merits that we've ever created, not only in this life, but in all our past lives. And then we combine these with the merits of all the Buddhas of the three times, all the past, present, and future Buddhas of the three times. An amazing amount of merit, something inconceivable, mind-blowing. And then we add to that all the merits created in the past that are being created now and that will be created in the future by all the sentient beings. And we begin by dedicating, in particular, the two very important states of mind be generated not only in ourselves, but in all sentient beings. So first we generate strongly that bodhicitta, this mind wishing to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, may be generated in all those in whom it has not yet arisen. And Rinpoche reminds us that we're not thinking just here of people, but of every single sentient being in every single realm. May they all generate bodhicitta. And then may those in which bodhicitta has arisen, may that bodhicitta never decline, but increase more and more. And then we can dedicate the same thing for the wisdom realizing emptiness. These are the two states of mind we need in order to achieve enlightenment, and which all sentient beings need in order to achieve enlightenment. So we dedicate also that the wisdom realizing emptiness may be born in the hearts and minds of every single sentient being. And here we include our family, those who are alive, those who passed away. And we include every single person who has a relationship with us, whether it's a good relationship or a bad one. And we dedicate for all those in particular suffering from COVID-19 and have passed away due to COVID-19. But then we include all sentient beings. May all of them generate the wisdom realizing emptiness. And in those in whom this wisdom has been generated, may it never decline, but increase more and more. And then we do these words for prayer for the sick from Shanti Devas Vajra Armor. So here we dedicate really strongly that this illness and all illnesses that are plaguing sentient beings, making their lives full of suffering, may be eliminated. And here, of course, we can include not only physical sufferings, but all the mental forms of illness. So we recite these words very strongly, coming from our heart. However many sick sentient beings there are, may they quickly be freed from all sicknesses. May all the sicknesses, without exception of transmigrated beings, never occur again. And then we dedicate for all those who've lost their lives due to COVID-19. And here, of course, again, we can also include not only those who've passed away due to COVID-19, but all those who've died, and particularly those who died in the last 49 days, from whatever reason, from cancer, from other forms of illness, from accidents and injuries, from suicide. So we dedicate that they may never ever be reborn in the lower realms. They may be born instead in a pure land where they can achieve enlightenment. And if that's not possible, that they may immediately receive a perfect human rebirth with all the conditions necessary for their spiritual development. And that in particular, they may meet perfectly qualified Mahayana gurus who teach them the path to enlightenment, and that they put this path into practice and achieve the realizations of guru devotion, renunciation, bodhicitta, and emptiness, and quickly achieve a state of full enlightenment. And then we make this prayer in Nagarjuna's jewel garland to be of use to all sentient beings in whatever way they need. Like the earth, water, fire, and wind, medicines, and wood in the forest, may I always be enjoyed by all sentient beings as they like and without resistance. May I hold sentient beings as dear as my life. May sentient beings hold me most dear. May all their negative karma ripen on me, and may all my virtue ripen on them. As long as any sentient being anywhere has not been liberated from samsara, may I abide in samsara to help them, even though I achieve highest enlightenment. And then we seal the merits with emptiness. By thinking of emptiness and dedicating all these merits, thinking that they are empty from their own side, and that all ourselves and all the beings to whom we're dedicating are empty from their own side, we help protect our merits from being destroyed by anger or wrong view. Due to all the past, present, and future merits collected by me, the numberless Buddhas, and numberless sentient beings, which are completely empty, existing from their own side, may I am completely empty, existing from my own side, achieve the state of full enlightenment, which is completely empty, existing from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are completely empty, existing from their own side, to that state, which is completely empty, existing from its own side, by myself alone, who am completely empty, existing from my own side. And then we dedicate for the long life of all our precious holy gurus. And here we will say the prayers for His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Lama Zopa Rinpoche to have long lives, but we can include all of our gurus, all of those who are guiding us on the path to enlightenment. May they all have long lives. May they all continue to teach us the Holy Dharma, and may all of their activities for the benefit of sentient beings may they flourish without the slightest obstacle. So for His Holiness, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, the incomparably kind Supreme Tenzin Gyatso, may have a long life, and may all of your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjana's victorious doctrine, masterfully accomplished magnificent prayers, honoring the three sublime ones, Savior, myself, and others, your disciples, please, please live long. So, thank you to all those who joined me. Thank you to the Chenrezig technical team who supports us in this. And hello to Venerable Amy.
Hello, Venerable Joan.
Hi.
Good to see you and stay connected across the planet.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Hope you're doing well.
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah. You too?
Do they know when you're going to get more vaccine over there? No.
No, Fran had heard that Denmark had given some AstraZeneca vaccines to Nepal and that they were organizing the distribution. But she told me that quite a few days ago, and I haven't heard anything since, so I'm not sure what's happening there.
Right, right.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, good luck with everything. Are the numbers still pretty bad there?
It's hard to know. There's not actually that much information in the papers, but I was asking one of the managers, I guess Jamchuk, the other day, and he said he thinks that it's underreported, even if the numbers look like they're coming down. He thinks that it's been underreported. So hard to know. Up here, we don't have much sense of what's going on in town.
I know it's a very different experience in the States. Like where I'm living, everything's opened up again with like full capacity, because our numbers have gone down so much. And it's a little frightening. Like, I still wear my mask, I still don't feel comfortable, but it's kind of weird. But there isn't any mass spread, and I think until the different variants come again, but it's going to take a while.
It's a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it? It starts to look good, and then everybody loosens up, gets a bit relaxed, and back again. So it's you can't really relax yet, because we never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of the world is not nearly beyond this at all. Yeah. Well, lovely to see you. Take good care, and hope Rinpoche is well and everything.
Yeah, Rinpoche is well.
Great.
Okay. See you. Bye-bye.
Enjoy.
You too.
Thank you so much, everyone. There's in the chat. Can you recommend? Thank you, Maddie. Where to donate? Yes, I think I saved the donation link, and I want to thank Chenrezig so much for hosting us again and again and again. And okay, let's see if I can quickly find. I know I saved the link. Is this it here? Yes, I got it right here. This is the link to a GoFund. Oh, there they go. Thank you so much. I did copy the link as well. And thank you to Venerable Damcho, who's been organizing all the sessions of people filling every session. Thank you to all of you for joining. Let's take a moment to consider our motivation and really set the best motivation you can. For some of you, it's earlier in the day. For some of us in the morning. So we really want to direct our energy and our awareness. This is you taking control of your mind before distractions take control of your mind and lead it elsewhere. So in the most positive place you'd like to direct it. And if you can, think about these prayers invested in your mind, planting deep seeds of virtue, can help you maybe possibly more quickly get enlightened, so you can be of the most benefit to all living beings. That's really how we want to focus if we can. So take a moment, set your motivation. And we're going to get started with the Vajra Armor, Vajra Armor practice. And let me know if there's anything you can't see. This is visualizing the space in front, a dark blue-black Vajrapani, an emanation of divine power and the skillful means you need to get enlightened. He's facing you a few feet in front, slightly higher than the level of your forehead. He's about 6 inches in height, surrounded by a transcendental wisdom fire. And imagine out of all the pores of his body come images of purification, such as scorpions and iron pigs and black garudas, and any kind of light rays that represent purification to you, going through the whole planet, purifying the planet of COVID and all other diseases, body and mind. And also the light rays are coming over to you, entering your forehead, throat, and heart, continuing that level of purification for you as we recite his mantra. And this is, sorry, not his mantra, it's the Vajra Armor mantra that's connected to this visualization. Om benza pe, om pema shavari pe, nembarshik nagan and tayata, sarva vajrena reke reke soha. Om benza pe, om pema shavari pe, nembarshik nagan and tayata, sarva varita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Om benza pe, om pema shavari pe, nembarshik nagan and tayata, sarva varita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hom benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik nagin and dayata sarva verita. Hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hon benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik nagin and dayata sarva verita. Hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hon benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik nagin and dayata. Sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hon benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik nagan entayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hon benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik nagan entayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hom benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hom benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hom benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hom benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hom benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hom benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hon benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hon benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hon benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hon benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hon benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hon benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Hon benza peum pema shavari pe nemparshik naganen dayata sarva verita hana hana vajrena reke reke soha. Take a moment if you'd like. Put your hand over your mouth. So you've just blessed your speech with this incredibly powerful mantra. And as you exhale, imagine that air going up your nostrils, continuing the purification of your body and mind. If you have a drink, please blow on the surface a few times. And once again, take a few sips, continuing that purification. And imagine that blue-black Vajrapani in the space in front dissolves into emptiness, lacks any inherent nature. From that wisdom, over top your crown arises Black Manjushri, an emanation, one emanation of the Buddha of infinite wisdom that helps to purify disease in this aspect. He's about 6 inches in height, facing the same direction as you. You can visualize a similar visualization, the light rays pouring out of his body, different images of purification, going to the entire planet and also down through your crown, purifying all disease, body and mind, especially the COVID virus, as we recite his mantra. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Om tazo juser taser miso ningo lacho kalaja kamsham drambe peso ha. Just feel that you have really purified something. And imagine the black manjushri over top your crown dissolves from the edges of the visualization into the center, into a radiant drop of light that melts into your crown. Feel the additional purification and all the blessings of his holy body, holy speech, and holy mind. This is the prayer liberating Sakya from disease, from Mahasiddha Thangtong Gyalpo. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of Gurus, Yidams, and Dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharma Kaya. So we'll recite Om Mani Padme Hum, mantra of the Buddha of compassion, as much as we can gaze at this image of Mahasiddha Thangtong Gyalpo. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. The actual prayer. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they have been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. We'll do that 2 more times. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. One last time. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. It's so nice to have all of you. I see Lamo from Florida. Wonderful to see you. Miss seeing you in Florida. And all the rest of you, Maddie in Florida, Ross in Maine. Great to have all of you with us. And Sekou, where are you?
Hello, I'm from New York. I'm from New York City, actually.
That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. Wonderful. Yes. And Patty from Oklahoma and all, Will, everybody. It's great. Okay, this is Pacifying the Danger of Weapons. all the regulars. You guys are great. Pacifying the danger of weapons. Omani Pemi Hong. Great loving victorious one, Arya sublime compassion eye looking one, wrathful victorious Hayagriva, perfect pure Tara, and so forth. Objects of refuge whose holy names eliminate all dangers upon mere hearing, who are compassionate in nature, please pay attention to me. When the sentient beings of the time of quarreling and of flourishing of the 5 degenerations are tormented by fighting and intense suffering, from the explosion of a great ocean of evil karma and jealousy, please dry this ocean up by the strength of your transcendental wisdom and compassion. Also by letting fall a great nectar rain of loving kindness on the transmigrating beings whose hatred is a blazing fire, please grant your blessings for happiness and auspiciousness to increase by their recognizing each other as being like parents. Through your defeating the multitude of vicious evil spirits who by entering someone's mental continuum change it instantly into the mind of an Asura. From now on, may they never roam in this region. Please also cause all the sentient beings who have died in war from now on to abandon all evil karma, the cause and result, and be miraculously reborn in blissful land. Please also cause all others to that. Please also lead all others to that pure land. Please cause all those who are born and die to have long lives and not have sicknesses, to stop all their quarreling and fighting, and to enjoy a life in the 10 virtues. Please make rain fall at the right time, harvest to always be good, and auspiciousness to increase in all habitats and for all inhabitants. By the ultimate reality, which is pure in nature, unbetraying cause and result, which has that ultimate reality, and the compassionate Guru, mind-sealed deity, and rare sublime ones, may my pure and extensive prayers be accomplished. The request to pacify the fear of famine. Having generated the mind aspiring to the highest supreme enlightenment in order to truly liberate all infinite living beings, you, the compassionate victorious one, completed the 2 accumulations. The assemblies of guiding Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, hearers, Pratyeka Buddhas, Gurus, Yidams, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians of the 10 directions, Yaksha wealth gods, the lords of treasures, along with your retinues. Think of these protectorless living beings of the degenerate times with love, and then in order to truly protect these embodied beings who are tormented by the sufferings of hunger, thirst, and poverty, let fall a rain of whatever attractive enjoyments are needed. Jewels, food, wealth, grains, bedding, and so forth on this world's land of snows. Please pacify the harms of the 4 elements, untimely wind, fire, drought, rain, floods, and so forth, and may nourishing grains from crops, harvests, and so forth ripen and increase like they do during the age of completion. By the force of having made extensive requests with strong entreaties through the force of love and compassion, may the eon of sickness, fighting, and famine be pacified, and may we possess a happy long life free from illness. Through the great compassion of the victorious ones and their children, and the force of the infallible truth of cause and effect, may the teachings of the victorious ones spread and increase, and may all living beings swiftly attain the highest enlightenment. So before we go to the dedication prayers, a little Tara. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha, all those blessings from His Holiness. Fantastic. And the dedication prayers. So I'd like to really invest all the positive energy, whatever merit we have created from doing this practice together, and for some of us doing it for more than a year now together. So grateful to all of you. I'd really like to dedicate to all those with COVID around the planet to be healed instantly, especially a man, Pythagoras, in Brazil, who is the dear brother of one of our FPMT nuns who runs the Rio Center. He's in the hospital in Brazil. Each week it was progressively worse, and he's now on a ventilator. So we're really directing some energy to him and all the beings around the planet to be free of COVID and all other diseases, like to dedicate like that. O Janju Senjo Rinpoche, Ma ke panam ge gyurchik, ke panyam pa me pa yi, gone du pelwasho. And especially to help us get enlightened so we can work perfectly for all mother sentient beings. However many sick sentient beings there are, may they quickly be freed from all sicknesses. May all the sicknesses, without exception, of transmigratory beings never occur again. In all my lives never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the grounds and paths. May I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. So I'd like to go to the emptiness, sealing with emptiness. Due to all the past, present, and future merits collected by me, the numberless Buddhas and numberless sentient beings, which are completely empty of existing from their own side, may I, who am completely empty of existing from my own side, achieve the state of full enlightenment, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are completely empty of existing from their own side to that state which is completely empty of existing from its own side, by myself alone, who am completely empty of existing from my own side. Any reflection, any understanding you have of emptiness, just reflect for a moment. And the next prayer, I fully dedicate all these virtues to be able to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality, and just like Samantabhadra as well. And for the long lives of our precious gurus, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the three sublime ones, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. Thank you to Chenrezig for hosting, Venerable Damchu. Thank you to all of you. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome, Venerable Tendrin. Please have a lovely weekend. And if you're a dad, happy Father's Day on Sunday. To all our, father sentient beings, right? Please be well.
Thank you, Venerable.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's continue with a refresh of our visualization of being surrounded by our friends and family, our loved ones. While we sit here, we can imagine that we're doing these prayers with all sentient beings. Our mother of this life on our left, our father of this life on our right, perhaps our grandparents, all our loved ones, our siblings, our partners, our children, our grandchildren, our friends and their loved ones, our Dharma community and their loved ones, all the people of our lives, and all the strangers, the people who we don't know in this life, but we've known in the past and will know again in the future. All the people we have difficulty with, seated in front of us. All the people of the world suffering from this pandemic, and all the myriad ways we suffer. From being ill, being worried about someone who is ill, the financial hardships, all those suffering from the four elements, floods and storms and earthquakes and volcanoes and drought, wildfires, all the beings in the bardo recently passed away. Just have this sense that they're all here with us, surrounding us. And we're doing these prayers for the benefit of all these sentient beings, particularly all those who can't spend their time in this way because they haven't met the teachings or they're not able to take time to be able to do these practices. So those of us who have a precious human rebirth with good conditions, leisure, and all the richnesses. So making our life meaningful in this way on behalf of all sentient beings. So now imagine in the space in front, a large jeweled throne supported by 8 great lions, on top of which is a seat of a variegated lotus and moon and sun mandala. On top of this sits the essence of all our root gurus, an aspect of the conqueror Shakyamuni Buddha. The color of his holy body is the purest gold, and he has a Upanisha on the top of his head. He has one face, 2 arms. His right hand is in the mudra of controlling the earth, and his left in the mudra of concentration, holding an alms bowl full of nectar. He's wearing the saffron robes of a monk. His holy body is in the nature of transparent light, sits in the Vajra posture in the center of an aura of light rays. Surrounding him with the direct and indirect gurus, yidams, buddhas, bodhisattvas, heroes, dakinis, and host of dharma protectors and guardians. In front of these holy beings, on a faultless throne, sits the Dharma, explained by them in the form of text, our actual refuge, the teachings we're trying to internalize in order to become enlightened ourselves. So feel very strongly that you're in the presence of all your teachers, all the enlightened beings who understand and accept you just as you are, and who strongly wishes to help us reach the state beyond sorrow. From beginningless time until now, all mother sentient beings, ourselves, have been experiencing the various general sufferings of samsara again and again. Who has the power to protect us from these sufferings? Only the 3 jewels, the enlightened ones abiding in front of us, the Dharma. Set a strong motivation that we're doing these practices to benefit all the sentient beings surrounding us in order to become enlightened for the benefit of all these beings. So we begin by taking refuge. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, idams, and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya, our Buddha potential. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, idams, and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, idams, and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. So try to generate a feeling of being completely supported by the three jewels. We can completely rely upon them. They're leading us in the way to benefit sentient beings unmistakably. Now imagine that the refuge field in front of us dissolves into light, absorbs up into Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. Throne dissolves into light, absorbing into the lotus sun and moon. And the Buddha comes to the crown of your head, above all sentient beings surrounding us, dissolves into blissful golden light. The golden light pours down into us, blessing our body, speech, and minds. Feel completely filled with this blissful golden light. Now imagine in front of you, in front of all these sentient beings around us, a 1,000-armed Chenrezig arises. Chenrezig is the embodiment of all the infinite Buddha's compassionate wisdom. He stands on a lotus and moon seat. His body is in the nature of white light, youthful, decorated with magnificent jewels. And visualize rays of light emanating from Chenrezig's heart. So while we recite the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, just visualize all these sentient beings receiving these rays of light, freeing us from all the causes of suffering, filling us with all the causes of happiness. So again, keeping in mind all the suffering sentient beings, particularly those suffering from this pandemic, feeling confident because we're following the advice of our teacher, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, in doing this practice. So have every confidence that this will benefit. So we'll recite Om Mani Padme Hum for 5 minutes, joyfully, imagining the rays of light emanating from Chenrezig's heart. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani. Money bad me, 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 money bad me. Money bad me, 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 money bad me. So take a moment to rejoice, to feel confident that we've hooked the enlightened activities of Chenrezig, compassionate wisdom, to benefit all sentient beings. So we're saying these prayers upon their behalf. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of the graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. So one last time, really feeling strongly that all sentient beings are here with us. We're leading them in these prayers in order to benefit. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they have been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakinis, dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth and the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. So now imagine that Chenrezig dissolves into light, absorbs into all sentient beings, blessing us all, our body, speech, and mind, with his holy body, speech, and mind. Now we'll recite some prayers from more dedication prayers from Shanti Deva. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of our merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored and finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness, and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power and may people think of benefiting each other. May the precious supreme bodhicitta not yet born arise. May that arisen not decline, but increase more and more. Please bless us that the lives of the glorious gurus be long, that all beings equaling the extent of space be happy, that I and others without exception collect merits and purify obscurations, and that we quickly achieve Buddhahood. So just again, refresh your sense of being surrounded by all sentient beings. In the States, we're marking the occasion when the enslaved of Texas found out that they were free. But knowing that our society in the States still has lots of work to do. There are many beings in the world that are oppressed from many different causes. There are those suffering from famine and war. So many ways we suffer in samsara. Because of all the merits of the three times created by us, all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and other sentient beings, may there be no wars, famines, disease, quarreling, fighting, or unhappy minds. May there be great prosperity, and may everything needed be easily obtained. May everyone have perfect conditions and have only compassion and love for each other and their mind streams. And may they only benefit and never harm each other. Due to all the past, present, and future merits collected by me, the numberless Buddhas, and the numberless sentient beings who exist but are completely empty of existing from their own side, may I, who exist but am completely empty of existing from my own side, achieve the state of full enlightenment which exists but is completely empty of existing from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who exist but are completely empty of existing from their own side to that state by myself alone. So just take a moment to reflect on the emptiness of suffering, the emptiness of sentient beings, emptiness of all phenomena. Now we want to pray for the long, healthy, happy lives of our teachers, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world. To the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may you have a long life and may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduers more away, you serve as a bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjana's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplished magnificent prayers honoring the three rare sublime ones, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. So thank you. So we wait for Venerable Rabina. Good, say Tara mantras. Om tar tar tur soha, om tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha. Om tar tar tur soha, om tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha. Om tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha. Om tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha. Om tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha. Om tar tar tur soha, tar tar tur soha. There she is.
Good morning.
Beloved Venerable Rabina.
There she is, always waiting for me. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Sweethearts. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, dearest Venerable. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. Okay. And everybody on YouTube that we can't see. Wish I could see you all. All right. So again, in the sky, already Chenrezig is there. Already the whole world is pervaded by the Buddhas. If we understand what a Buddha is, of course, it sounds like science fiction, really, but this is what Buddha is saying. Everybody can become the Mahayana view. Even the lowest level bodhisattva has got so much power, and there's 10 stages before you become a Buddha. So when you become a Buddha, you can manifest your mind throughout the universe in trillions of forms for the sake of trillions of sentient beings in all the realms of existence. So now, but we're visualizing here the Buddha in the Sambhogakaya form. It's called the enjoyment body. This one is the Arya Bodhisattvas, the Bodhisattvas who realize emptiness, the yogis. They're the ones who can actually see this one. We're imagining, okay. It's the form. It's from Tantra. This blissful, radiant body, white light. It's male form, except you can't tell really. They look very similar, don't they? And he's sitting on a lotus, and on that multicolored lotus, and on that lotus is a sun disk and a moon disk. You can't see them; they're like flat cushions. Wisdom and compassion. And his peaceful aspect. There's different aspects of the Buddha. Chenrezig has different aspects too. The wrathful ones, peaceful ones, different kinds. Here, this peaceful form, very sweet. Because you see, the Buddhas manifest in four different ways to benefit sentient beings. So the easy ones to fix they can be easy ones to help. It can be peaceful aspect, but the wrathful ones, the ones who are a bit thick-headed, need Buddha to manifest in very strong forms. So there's those forms of Chenrezig as well. But here, the peaceful one should make us happy just seeing him. Blissful face, so beautiful, so beautiful. And if we have a Lama, a teacher, a spiritual mentor, a guru, a person, or people, many can be many, whom we've decided, whom we've checked up on, and whom we have decided you know, who we have decided is the Buddha for us. This is the Guru, it's the meaning. As Lama Yeshe says, the Buddha's dead, you know, but the Four Noble Truths only become real for us when we hear them from that person, and that becomes real for us. It's very skillful. At the time of the Buddha, he would have been the Guru. Buddha doesn't need a body. A Buddha doesn't need a body. They've gone beyond bodies. So they manifest in different bodies for our benefit. Shakyamuni Buddha behind us, he's in that form, the Manakaya, the emanation body. So our Lama is like in that one. We think of it as that one, you know. And here it is, though, he is oneness with Chenrezig. Chenrezig's mind, our Lama's mind, same thing. No distinction, no difference, things like that. Makes it very personal. And he's got 4 hands, and the first 2 in the front holding a wish-fulfilling jewel. There used to be such things. And the other 2 hands held aloft, one holding a crystal rosary, and then another one holding a white lotus, and the lotus is in his left hand. And there's an antelope skin over his right shoulder, I think, showing his peaceful nature. Everything's radiant light. Should make us so happy. And think of it as a mirror image of our potential. Buddha's showing us what we can become. That's why he's in a body, to show us how to become it. So now we think of all the sentient beings pervading the universe, and we can think of them as the 3, you know, divided into these 3 categories of objects of attachment, objects of aversion, objects of indifference, friend, enemy, stranger. In front of us, to the left, to the right, above, below, behind, under, below, and in front, as far as we can imagine, the whole universe full, all the friends, enemies, and strangers. And so we think they all want to be happy, just like us, just like each other. They don't want to suffer, just like each other, just like us. And they have the potential to be free of suffering and the potential to be full of happiness, the happiness of enlightenment. This is the natural potential of every one of us. So here, particularly, we're thinking of all the people suffering from this pandemic, you know. Maybe lots of animals are too, but we don't think about them, you know. They just, all these suffering beings, and then all the suffering beings. Whole of space form. So we do this, we take refuge together. We take refuge together. Make sure I see you all. All right. We're all reciting together, all the trillions of us. All the trillions of us. We are all sentient beings, my mothers, who are infinite like space. And I like to say the words we rely upon. That's the meaning. We rely upon the precious Guru Buddha. We rely upon the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We rely upon the assembly of gurus, yidams, dakas, and dakinis. And we rely upon the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers, who are infinite like space. We rely upon the precious Guru Buddha. We rely upon the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We rely upon the assembly of gurus, yidams, dakas, and dakinis. We rely upon the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers, who are infinite like space. We rely upon the precious Guru Buddha. We rely upon the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We rely upon the assembly of gurus, yidams, dakas, and dakinis. We rely upon the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space. We rely upon the precious Guru Buddha. We rely upon the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We rely upon the assembly of gurus, yidams, dakas, and dakinis, and we rely upon the empty clarity of our own minds. And so we, as we now recite the mantra, sing a few times, we visualizing Lama Chenrezig sending from his brow radiant beams of laser light, white light. No, sorry, I forgot. We have to invite the wisdom beings. I'm so sorry. We should have done that first. So we think there's a white armor Lama Chenrezig's brow, red R at his heart, and a blue hung, a red R at his throat, and a blue hung at his heart. So from the heart, from the blue hung at the heart, blue beams go out to the whole universe, hooking the energy of all the actual Chenrezigs in their abodes, the actual Chenrezigs existing. This is called inviting the wisdom beings, the actual Buddhas. This is like we've done our visualization, but it's kind of pretend. So we're going to make it real. So we invite all the wisdom beings, all the Chenrezigs. This blue light hooks the energy of all of them, and all the energy of all the Chenrezigs in the universe come back with that light and enter into the heart of Chenrezig. And now we visualize all these. Now our visualization becomes radiant, amazing. It's like the real Buddha now, full of the energy of all the Chenrezigs in the universe. And we say Zahong Bamho, and we imagine they all become non-dual. So now the light goes out from his brow, entering our brow, and the brow of all the people suffering from this pandemic in the whole universe. And then all the beings suffering of anything at all. All the beings of all the different realms, but they're all in the form of humans, which is the form they can get enlightened in. And we imagine it totally eradicates all the pain and the suffering of the bodies. Think of all those who are sick. So much pain in the world, so much suffering, the suffering of sickness. And our own pain, all the suffering of our own lumpy old bodies, and all the suffering of all the trillions and trillions of animals who live in like the terror and hell of eating and being eaten, eating each other and being eaten. So their bodies are tortured. And they can't even get a Band-Aid, nothing. And not to mention all the realms and the other suffering in the other realms of existence as well. All this suffering annihilated by this white light. How amazing. Wanting this so much for every being. As we recite the mantra. And as the thing is, as we recite the mantra, not just visualizing this, but the sound. In Tantra, they say the wind energy, the subtle wind energy we have, which is the subtle physical energy that we're made up of. This is sound. This is sound, and the purest sound of these Sanskrit mantras is Sanskrit sounds. They say that. So the wind, air energy is sound. So we're trying to purify, by saying mantra, we purify our own wind energy, which in turn purifies eventually our bodies and purifies our minds. And then we also think whoever hears it, all the bugs around us, the creatures, wherever we are in the world, whoever's hearing these sounds, they're being blessed and purified. How amazing. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 So as you recite these verses, these thoughts, these aspirations a few times, we think, Lama Chenrezig never stops benefiting. So the light continues to flood out to the whole universe, entering into the brows of all these suffering beings, purifying the bodies, and I forgot to say, but also purifying the causes, which is harming others, killing especially is the cause environmentally of all of why we're having, or why we're sick. The environmental result of killing is that the food, the world itself, the physical environment itself harms us. We even these days, the other human beings are the environment for us. So we can't even touch each other because we get sick, maybe less now. And then environmental result of killing is that the physical world itself harms us. The experience similar to the cause of killing is that we die young or get killed. And of course, the tendency to keep doing it is the worst one. Look at the human world. Most humans kill something. It's so tragic. And of course, the main result is the lower realms, born in the lower realms, born animals, spirits, and these things. So all of this, we imagine, thinking all this compassion for all the sentient beings, and wanting them to purify the result, the result of killing, and the causes of this suffering, which is the killing itself. Imagine this light pouring into our brows, purifying all of this, every being in the universe, as we say the mantras, as we say the prayers. These aspirations. And this is what prayers are. May this happen, may that happen. Aspirations, Everything exists on the tip of the wish, as Lama Zopa says. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings, that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases, that like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, and the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health and well-being. Want this for everybody, want it for everybody. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they'd been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they'd been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of truth, of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses in the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May what all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they'd been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. And may whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth, of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses in the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they'd been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth, of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. So Lama Chenrezig continues to send this radiant beams of white light from his brow, from the white onward his brow, entering us and everybody in the universe, totally purifying the bodies, the suffering of the bodies, and the causes of this suffering, all the causes, which is the killing and the harming of each other. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Continuing, Lama Chenrezig never stopping, sending out all these powerful blessings as we say the prayer again, these thoughts from our hearts, wanting exactly this to be the way it is. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. Because most of the beings aren't embodied, animals and humans, but we're not the most, you know. The spirits and the hell beings, they're the ones, the biggest numbers, and they're not embodied. Well, I mean, they have elements. The hell beings, probably fire is their body. You know, their minds are conjoined with the fire element. Spirits, their minds are conjoined with the air element. May all embodied beings be unharmed by 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements depriving the body and mind of every happiness be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. And the only reason we need that is so we can, you know, practice, become enlightened, use the opportunity. And you're sick, you've got a little headache, you can't think of anything, isn't it? So to have good health is like a miracle. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its result, this natural law that runs the universe, you know, as His Holiness calls it, self-creation. May all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements depriving the body and mind of every happiness be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being by the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of truth, the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results. May all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses in the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sound of whose names terrify beings as if they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. So let's do the whole meditation, purifying the body, the speech, and the mind. Again, the body, white from the white Om Lama Chenrezig's brow, radiant laser beams of light penetrate our brow and the brows of every being in the universe, up, down, behind, below, as far as you can imagine. Not an atom of space where there aren't sentient beings. This is because the universe is made of the four elements, and because all minds are conjoined with their own set of the four elements, then the four elements are a conducive environment for sentient beings. So wherever there are the four elements, that's the whole earth, then it is pervaded by sentient beings. There's nowhere there aren't sentient beings. There's no inch of space you won't find sentient beings. So from Lama Chenrezig's brow, this light goes out, penetrating every one of us, purifying all the suffering of the bodies, but especially for all of us, the causes, the past harming, the killing, past harming of each other. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 So imagine all the beings totally purified, the karma of killing and all the past karma and all the suffering right now, all purified. Imagine that. How amazing. Full of this blissful white light. So now Lama Chenrezig very compassionately sends the red beams, radiant beams of red light from the red R at his throat. If we know Sanskrit, of course, or Tibetan letters, we put those there. But if we don't, we just see the Roman letters. I mean, at the throat, and the red light coming out, penetrating our throats and the throats of every being in the universe, instantly purifying the suffering of the suffering resulting from past negative speech. Of course, it's us humans, but all these beings have been humans at some point, and so you can experience the results of it in other realms. And we see this in our lives, People don't believe our words. It's because of past lying. People don't trust our words, not interested in our words. They find us boring. They don't listen. It's because of gossip. We just rabbited on about nothing. So our words have no value. We know we need speech in this life, People think you're being abusive, and you're not really. It's because of past abusive speech. The environmental result is always to do with the way the environment, if the result of, is like, for example, the environmental result of harsh speech is you can be born in a desert, nothing grows, All the environmental results, the experiences similar to the cause results, and the actual tendency to keep doing it. All of this, we imagine all this. So here particularly is the results of the negative speech, all the four results, the lower realms, the tendency to keep doing it, and the environmental result and the experience similar to the cause, all this purified, and the causes, the rubbish speech, as humans, gone, purified, full of this blissful red light. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Full of this red light, everybody, the whole universe, all the rubbish nonsense, the karmic results of harsh, or the wrong speech, and all the karmic results and the causes themselves, purified completely by this radiant red light filling all of us. How amazing. So now Lama Chenrezig so compassionately sends from the blue horn his heart and the center of his chest, radiant lights of blue, radiant beams of blue light, blue probably like the sky, nice, shiny, lovely blue, entering our hearts, everybody in the whole universe, penetrating, instantly filling us, instantly purifying the all the look at all the mental suffering we have. So the mental suffering really is also the causes, the delusions themselves are the causes, and of the suffering, of the mental suffering, the suffering of all the delusions themselves, the suffering of them, of the anxiety and the worries and the fears and the anger and the jealousy and the attachment and the resentment, all this nonsense, Every sentient being has this. Everybody has a mind. All mind possessors have mental suffering. I mean, Lama Zopa Rinpoche said, if you could just for a moment have a direct experience of the mind of your little doggy woggy. He didn't say doggy woggy, I'm saying that. Just for a second, you had a direct experience of their mind, your little dog, who we think is so fortunate, so happy. He said the mental suffering would be so unbearable, you'd never want to waste another precious second of this precious human life. That's impossible. That's insane for us. We don't believe that. It's impossible. We can't even see the suffering of humans' minds, But animals, apparently, it's unbearable suffering because of ignorance, the root delusion, and the attachment, and the delusion's a billion times stronger than ours. Therefore, the suffering is a billion times more. So imagine all this eradicated, the mental suffering, and the delusions themselves eradicated, because they can be, because they're not at the core of our being. This is Buddha's finding. All these delusions are adventitious. They're not at the core of our being. They don't belong. They're like bells and whistles that we've added. Actually, we've never added them. They've always been there, but they're added. They're extra. We can get rid of them. So imagine this, free of all the delusions, this radiant blue light filling all of us. How amazing. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Full of this blue light, free of all the delusions, can you imagine, and all the suffering as a result of it, which of course, and this is the suffering of all this, the body and speech as well, the body and speech are the servants of the mind. So a couple more times we'll do the prayer, and then we'll do the rest of the meditation. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha, spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they'd been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are, due to disturbances of the four elements depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power, and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being, by the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results. May all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha, spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they'd been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements depriving the body and mind of every happiness be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being, by the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results. May all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha, spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever may all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they'd been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements depriving the body and mind of every happiness be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. So now we get all the blessings, all the realizations this time. So Lama Chenrezig sends white light again from the from the white Om, entering us and now filling us this time with the white light. But now all our bodies now become only capable of benefiting others. Imagine this, even now, this body now. Whoever sees us and hears us and tastes us and touches us and whatever is only benefited. And then, of course, all the potential when we're Buddha to be able to effortlessly manifest in trillions of bodies throughout universes for the sake of trillions of sentient beings. Every being full of this marvelous potential, this blissful white light. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, full of this white light, full of this power, full of this potential. Every being in the universe. Amazing. And now Lama Chenrezig sends the red beams from the red eye at the throat, penetrating every one of us, filling us with the power of speech. This is the most important gift for sentient beings. This is the most important thing the Buddha gives us. Power of speech, such that any sound we utter is beneficial to whoever hears it. Can you imagine this? Every being full of this, therefore able to lead every sentient being to enlightenment by giving advice. Power of speech, full of this, amazing. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Full of this blissful red light. The power to be a benefit to sentient beings, lead them all to enlightenment. And now Lama Chenrezig sends so compassionately from his heart blue beams of light from the blue home that penetrate our hearts. And this time filling us with all the virtue. I mean, we've removed all the delusions, and that's already pretty amazing. The bliss from that's pretty incredible, but now even 1,000,000,000 times more amazing because we're practicing the Bodhisattva path, and now all the virtues, 1,000,000,000 times enhanced. Utter infinite wisdom, infinite compassion, infinite kindness, infinite love, infinite everything, all the virtues. These are at the core of our being. These are who we really are, every one of us. Totally developed. Can you imagine? Blue light utterly filling us. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. A few more times of prayer. Strongly wanting exactly as we say to happen. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha, spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as if they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements depriving the body and mind of every happiness be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the Dakas, Dakinis, Dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the, yeah, it's okay, nothing. May all the diseases that sadden the minds that result from karma and of the sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha, spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. Whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the bhutas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are due to just from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings as though they've been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements depriving the body and mind of every happiness be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. And so now Lama Chenrezig this time sends the three lights together, white from the white Om to the brow, red from the red Ah to the throat, blue from the blue Hung to the heart. And this time, turning us all into Chenrezig. Imagine all the beings turned into Chenrezig as the three lights go together. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 So now we imagine Lama Chenrezig comes and sits above our crowns, every one of us, all the trillions of sentient beings. And then Lama Chenrezig dissolves into, very happily, delightedly, dissolves into each of our crowns. And then we imagine that the body, speech, and mind of Chenrezig and the body, speech, and mind of our Lama and the body, speech, and mind of us, each one of us, becomes one. Same thing, no distinction. Union, oneness, as Lama Yeshe says. So now imagine yeah, just bliss out for about a minute. No thoughts. Full of this perfect energy. And now you imagine all the trillions and trillions of transformed Chenrezigs all absorb into us, each one of us, enhancing a billion times also more our Buddha, our true nature. Imagine. And then we dedicate. Just think how amazing this 1 hour we've been together, as long as we've been together, as many moments as there've been, as many seeds we've planted, and may all these thoughts we had that will not go astray, they've gone in the mind, may they all result exactly as we said in the future, and may we be Chenrezig exactly as we visualized, so we can function as the Buddha to help trillions of sentient beings. And may all our lamas live long. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, embodiment of Chenrezig, and Lama Zopa Rinpoche and our own lamas, may and may we live long, as long as we're benefiting sentient beings and then the world needs us. Jang Chup Sem Chup Rinpoche, Ma Ke Panam Ke Gyuchig, Ke Panyampa Me Pa Yang Gong Ne Gong Du Paba Shog. That's it. Where's our next kind person? There she is. Venerable Carol. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Venerable.
Everyone. Oh, good morning. Hi, everyone's signing off from the last session, and I just rejoice in everyone's participation, all of us who are leading the sessions, and in everyone who participates, and all the wonderful prayers and good wishes that are arising from this effort. My name is Carol Jumpachitso. I'm in San Francisco at Seichen Ling Center. And I also want to send out thanks, especially to IMI and to Chenrezig Institute for having the stamina, making this program so effective and staying with it. So lots of rejoicing to do. And this morning, for this next 30-minute session, let's begin with just a little bit of centering meditation, just focusing on the breath so we can bring our minds, kind of refresh our motivation. Just letting go of the day's concerns, whatever time of day it is, just thinking all those external things don't matter right now. Just bring the attention to the breath and just resting on the breath, breathing in and breathing out. And for a moment, just scan your posture, make sure the back is straight but not stiff. You can imagine your spine is like a stack of coins. If you're on a cushion, you can have your legs crossed comfortably. If you're on a chair, it's good to have your feet kind of planted flat on the floor. You can have your hands resting on your thighs, or you can place your right hand on your left palm with your thumbs touching just a few inches below your navel. Either posture is fine. And just gently watch the breath. Just letting the body relax and the mind become alert, more focused. If the mind wanders, simply bring it back to the breath. The attention goes everywhere, but we gently return to the breath. And now that we've just settled our mind a bit, just resting with the breath, Let's turn our thoughts to our motivation for being here. Just thinking, just as I wish to be free of suffering, so does each and every sentient being. And when we bring to mind suffering, just think it's more than just, the pain that may arise occasionally, or, perhaps severely in for a short period. It's not just physical suffering, the pervasive, the sort of recurring or always remaining suffering of dissatisfaction. Sometimes you hear it called dukkha. Just means that this cyclic existence is in this nature of dissatisfaction, that we can't find lasting happiness here, not with the way our minds are. This is what the Buddha taught and laid out this path for us to follow. This is the path to ultimate enlightenment, to that lasting happiness. And just developing the wish to free ourselves from this suffering, from this cycle of dissatisfaction. But then thinking about everyone we care about, our family, our friends, and all the beings we share this existence with. I'm just thinking, if I do this just for myself, I leave everyone, every single one in this suffering existence. And just generating the thought in our hearts that may I reach this state of enlightenment so that I can be of most benefit to beings. Because this is truly the best way to help others. By taming our minds, by following this path, and generating this intentional motivation, what we call bodhicitta, this altruistic wish to attain enlightenment for all beings, to benefit beings. This is the best way. This creates the causes for us, for our own enlightenment. And it's also the best way to help every single sentient being. So just resting in that for a moment. And just having the thought that this is going to be my motivation this morning. Generating the wish that at some point this motivation will just arise spontaneously, that we'll have it in our hearts all the time. So with this thought in mind, this wish to benefit, to attain enlightenment, to benefit others, let's do this prayer of Thangtong Gyalpo, especially in this time when we're still in so many parts of the world dealing with the pandemic, with COVID, still so much suffering around it, and so much uncertainty. Uncertainty around recovery, around this disease. So let's just refresh our motivation. All sentient beings, my mothers, who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, yidams, and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers, who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, yidams, and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. So on this third repetition, just really feel this motivation, take it to heart. All sentient beings, my mothers, who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, yidams, and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. So now just imagine yourself sitting in a meadow with your friends and family to either side. And then in the center is an aspect of Chenrezig, this Buddha of compassion, just radiant white, the level of your crown, standing, smiling, sending out this love and compassion. And along with you and your family and friends, each and every sentient being, just imagine them in human form. So there's a circle of people surrounding Chenrezig, who's in the middle. Everyone's seated comfortably, sitting harmoniously, just extending out to the horizon. Just imagine it's very peaceful and joyful. And as we recite this mantra of Chenrezig, just continue to have this visualization and think that rays of white light radiate out from Chenrezig's holy body, enters your crown, and starts to completely fill your body with this compassion, this compassionate energy, completely eliminating suffering. Your suffering, the suffering of all sentient beings. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme.